Hello everyone. My name is Disha. I'm a first year student of Sociology Honors from IP College of Women. And the topic of my presentation is sexual harassment at workplace. The two reports that I've analyzed are, the first one is the research study on the nature, incidence, extent, and impact of sexual harassment of women at workplace in the state of Maharashtra. And the second report is the sexual harassment of LGBT people in the workplace. Okay. So sexual harassment is any physical contact or advances. Every physical contact is not per se a sexual harassment. It is sexual unless it is sexually motivated. A demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, any other unwelcome physical, verbal, or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. So this is as per my report analysis. Like I do not have the whole data in here, but it is present in my analysis report. It is submitted to Rashmi ma'am. So out of that, the possible reasons for the women are male domination, inferior job position, misperception about friendly nature. Many women reported like their experiences saying that they felt like men said that it was for friendly nature because of which all the things happened. And last one is the higher academic profile of a woman. And in this case, most of the time, the harassment is done by the third party. LGBT, the social stigma they face, marginalization, lack of actual support, and poverty. Characteristics of perpetrators, according to the report, is mostly their colleagues, and 1 in 5 respondents experience sexual harassment by third party. Third party, as in the customer, clients, or patient, suppliers, or in contractors, and perpetrators are mostly in work premises. This is the whole data of um, the perpetrators. Okay, so according to the report, the ones who have reported it to the higher authorities, uh, they've got probably justice, but they also face the problems. But this is about those people who could not report it due to certain reasons, and what, according to them, uh, happens with the perpetrators after a sexual harassment. They are seen roaming around freely. They are not guilty of the obscene act. The perpetrators easily get away from these situations, and all these things the victims see. And one big, like, it's a normal human nature, that is when someone wrongs us, we just cannot see them around us, or we just cannot see them happy, but they literally see it because of the job or the pressure around them, the fear and the embarrassment. Now what happens with the victim? It affects them physically, psychologically, economically, and socially. They get scared of people around them because of their experience. They are looked with suspicion by others as if it was their fault, and are found lost and are unable to concentrate on their jobs. In many cases, they even leave the jobs. This is the statistics. Okay, so now we do talk about laws and how laws help women, man, the people who get sexually harassed. But it's very hard to talk about these things that people actually do not report about it, and we do not see the reasons behind it. So this, according to the report, these are the reasons that I have analyzed, and because like why it goes unreported. The first is because of fear and embarrassment, sorry, fear of losing job, fear of blame coming on them. They fear the repercussions. They are asked to shut up and are threatened by perpetrators, and because of lack of social support. Now, this is the data that did you tell anyone about the incident? 71% of them said yes, they did talk about it. But did you tell about this to police or college authorities about the incident? They said no. 59% of them said no, and 12% of them said yes. So people actually did not report it and they keep it to themselves. But this is something that stays with them. Myths and misconceptions about it. Now, this actually shows the two topics that I've chosen. Like one is women, the other one is LGBT. Like I wanted to choose about men and women, but honestly speaking, I couldn't find reports on men on like when I was searching for it. Maybe I was searching it wrong, or there are literally actually no, there are not much reports. Like they were research papers, but they were not actual reports of the sexual harassment or anything like survey report on men getting harassed and everything. So that's why I chose LGBT and then like women and workplace as a common place. So myths and misconceptions are only women are harassed and only men are sexual harassers. Harassment always occurs between a man and a woman. The person who has directly been harassed is the only victim. Harassment requires touching. If you ignore harassment, it will go away. It doesn't go away whenever. Now, when we spoke about the Me Too movement in the morning slot, and in the Me Too movement, like we spoke about people coming up and talking about it, and people had a platform to talk about it. There were also people who had who did fake allegations, but there were also people who actually did not talk about it. But when there are certain incidents that happen around you or that you see, you'll always remember about that. So it just doesn't go away. If it doesn't happen with you physically again, but psychologically it just stays always. So it's a misconception that it will go away with time. Next one is most sexual assaults occur at night. Prostitutes cannot be sexually harassed. If a person did not scream or fight or had no injuries, then it cannot be a sexual harassment. These are the myths and misconceptions that I found. Okay, now sexual harassment is not gendered. Now, this is a statement that I've given because I saw it in the report, the Maharashtra report, where the women sexual harassment report. I saw it there, and it was written in their conclusion part that it should be seen as a gender specific thing, and it shouldn't be seen if we focus, if we see it as a gender specific thing, then we'll be able to focus on it more because women get harassed more. It's always a woman who gets harassed, but there are so many if there are men who don't report, there are people of LGBT who do not report about it because of people do not actually empathize with them. People show apathy rather than showing empathy, and that is a very big difference, because of which people do not report it and it doesn't come forward, and it is like we feel that no, only a specific gender faces it. And so this is the statement and these are the pictures. It's also apart from the report and analysis, I found one thing that even searches on Google, if you just type sexual harassment, you'll find all the data, all the reports, all the what do we call surveys and everything on women, but you will not find it on men or LGBT or like on anything. So it's like you will have to type it in different languages to actually find it. So this is how I found it. So sexual harassment is not gendered, it is not gender specific. It can happen with anybody and just anywhere. Now my conclusions, like apart from like there were in both the reports there were legal laws and everything, but I personally felt if this presentation I would have been presenting in front of the people like the workplace, then I'd say that if I tell them about the laws and everything, they might just forget about the sections or about anything that is available, the legal remedies. So I think more than that, we should make them aware about the very right of it, or what actually is the right conscience, the right and wrong between it. So the conclusion that I gathered is fact cannot be denied that the sexual harassment has not been controlled and is still growing. Instead of the perpetrators, the victims get scared and trapped. Sexual harassment affects every demography and every community. Therefore, it has become important that the legislative measures for combating sexual harassment needs to be accompanied by preventive measures. The responsibility of preventing sexual harassment lies on the employer. Therefore, workplace policies can be in the most effective tool for preventing sexual harassment. Some suggestions. Policies related to sexual harassment must be easily accessible and must provide a copy of the policy to new joiners as part of their induction. Constant and effective monitoring of policies, acts, and laws should be ensured. Display details of both formal and informal ways available for workers to address or complain about sexual harassment. Sexual harassment must be seen as something against fundamental human right and as an equality issue, and not just a problem for labor or employer to serve. So with this, I'd also like to conclude by saying that we say that a particular gender or something gets faced. I can't stress enough on this thing that more than treating people equally, it's important to treat people equitably. Like treating equally might be a tough task, but treating people right is not that difficult. So everybody and anybody can face it, and every issue is important. Thank you for listening.